As we hit 2026, the Treasure Valley labor market is standing at a specific crossroads. We have reached a point where the regional economy depends on a total transition to pathway-centric hiring. Think back to the standard entry-level recruit from around 2015. Companies built their pipelines for an 18 to 22-year-old studying full-time, financially supported by their parents, and coming in with almost zero professional experience. That profile has largely vanished from the regional workforce. It has been eclipsed by the Neotraditional worker, a demographic that now makes up over 70% of the available talent pool. In this environment, age has become an ecologically invalid metric. Instead, the modern candidate is defined by specific life circumstances. They are financially independent, they are supporting dependents, or they are working full-time while enrolled in classes. When regional employers search for the blank slate candidates of the past, they overlook the actual human capital infrastructure of the valley. They are effectively blind to the reality of the people ready to work. This new majority operates under a specific survival condition. At the center of that condition is a massive barrier. 80.7% of these adult learners face severe time poverty. These individuals are balancing complex life roles, securing childcare and navigating transportation with the immediate pressing need for professional upskilling. At the exact phase of life when these candidates have the least available free time, 90% of regional jobs now require digital and AI competency as a baseline for entry. A systemic bottleneck occurs when rigid, degree-based hiring practices are applied to this time-poor demographic, creating a perceived labor shortage where one shouldn't exist. Locking 70% of the regional workforce out of modern recruitment pipelines creates a ceiling for growth. When the majority of capable workers cannot navigate the application process, regional economic mobility grinds to a halt. By 2026, AI literacy has become a mandatory prerequisite for 90% of regional jobs. It is the universal entry requirement for the modern economy. Most candidates encounter these tools through tacit exposure, meaning they interact with AI in their personal lives every day, but they rarely receive formal, structured guidance on how to use it professionally. This creates an exposure versus instruction gap. Without formal training, workers applying casual AI habits to professional workflows introduce significant risks regarding data privacy, risks of algorithmic bias, and operational accuracy. True professional readiness requires 3 specific pillars. First, operational competency to drive productivity. Second, responsible judgment to navigate ethical complexities. And third, human oversight to ensure the final output is accurate and aligned. Traditional standalone instruction often fails to build these pillars because it treats every candidate as a beginner, ignoring the mixed readiness they've developed through their daily lives. Simply requiring AI software proficiency on a job description is ineffective if the workforce lacks the professional and ethical boundaries required to use those tools in a corporate environment. Solving this coordination problem requires a shift in focus. We have to move beyond traditional campus recruiting and embrace a distributed learning network. Local libraries and community colleges have emerged as the primary human capital infrastructure for the Valley. They serve as the first trusted bridge for identifying and vetting talent within the community. Models like the Millbridge Public Library succeed because they offer embedded, peer-based delivery. They bring professional training to the worker in their own neighborhood, respecting the constraints of their survival condition. However, this talent pipeline is fragile. 52.6% of regional libraries face insufficient funding, threatening the very sites where the workforce gains its AI readiness. This funding gap hits rural libraries the hardest. They face greater constraints than their urban counterparts, often offering 30% fewer training sessions for the workers who need them most. Regional economic mobility now depends on the synchronization of these community spaces. Modern workers shouldn't be expected to adapt to highly inflexible institutional schedules just to gain basic professional competencies. The 2026 forecast identifies a fundamental coordination problem. The Treasure Valley possesses both the talent and the technology, but it lacks the visible, staged progressions to connect the two. Fixing this requires a shift to skills-first validation. This means de-emphasizing the standard high school diploma in favor of validating the specific technical and soft skill competencies needed for the role. When employers focus on validating these specific competencies, they open the door to a massive pool of capable workers who have been locked out by traditional degree requirements. Adopting low-friction entry points, like asynchronous applications, directly addresses the time poverty of the neo-traditional worker. It makes the recruitment process survivable, which significantly increases long-term retention. Removing structural friction makes corporate standards practically accessible to the people who already hold the required skills. For the Treasure Valley to thrive, training must start with relevance-first learning. Local employability is the primary factor in program success, meaning every lesson must have a direct path to a paycheck. We also need embedded ethics. Technical AI use and human oversight must be taught as inseparable skills from day one to ensure workers can navigate a professional context safely. To bridge the evaluation gap, we need visible progressions. This means creating measurable data points that track a worker's path from initial exposure to professional competency, proving the return on investment for the region. Structural flexibility must become the default. Every recruitment and training process should be designed around the survival condition of the modern worker, minimizing friction at every step. The Treasure Valley's competitive edge in 2026 belongs to those who stop searching for a blank slate candidate and start building purpose-driven pathways to elevate the talent that is already here.